Good morning, all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Heritage Matters for Friday, the 13th of March. I know most people like to talk about Fridays when they're the 13th, that is some sort of bad luck day sort of situation. Friday the 13th. I guess movies like the one that bears that name kind of help to promote that kind of idea. But welcome to today's show, and we hope that you are enjoying your Friday and looking forward to the weekend that's upcoming, and that you'll make every effort to use the weekend wisely and to enjoy yourselves. I haven't been on the show for a while because of other very pressing commitments. And I wasn't able to update you guys or give you some information about some events that were happening in February, which was the History and Heritage month of activities. So I wasn't able to alert you guys of these as they came up, but what I can do is give you a little recap to tell you about the things that happened, just for the record, so that you'll know. As usual, every year, the History and Heritage Committee, which is a committee which is organized by and has stakeholders such as the Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park Society, the St. Christopher and Nevis National Trust, the University of the West Indies Global Campus in St. Kitts and Nevis, the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Aging and Disabilities. We also have the Public Library, the Charles Halbert Public Library, and we also have the Department of Education, very important part of the system, and then the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College, the History Club of this Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College. And then we also have some other interested persons who assist us as interested members, such as Mr. Anthony Wilshire and Mr. Larry Harmony. And we are grateful and thankful to all who have contributed to this year's History and Heritage. And we look forward to collaborating again in the future and keeping this History and Heritage month of activities alive. Just to give a little background, the History and Heritage activities started really as a brainchild of the late Sir Probyn Innes. And he thought it was a great idea to have some activities in a month which is normally celebrated as a Black History Month, to bring attention to and to educate people on the cultural, historical, and heritage of the islands, so that people will be well informed about these things and don't let the information and the recognition die. It started first as a week of activities, but then shortly after, because of the number of things that we're trying to pack into 1 week, it was realized that that was kind of unrealistic, and so it was extended to a month of activities. And so over the course of a month, usually the month of February, we have these activities, and we try to get the public involved. The first thing that we usually do, and which we did this time, is to have a church service, and we had that this time at the New Birth Gospel Tabernacle in Keon. And thanks to the pastor there, we had a wonderful service. And the week, as it got on the way, was held under the umbrella theme. Each year we select a theme. This year's theme was celebrating the arts of Black expressions, past, present, and future. And this was meant to bring or highlight, although we do have a number of ethnic groups making up our St. Kitts Nevis community, we thought this year we would just focus or highlight the, 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 the African connection. Um, but we recognize all and we value their contribution in the growth and development and the history and heritage of St. Kitts. Um, we have people like the Kalinago who were here before everyone came. We have the Europeans of all types. We have the Syrians, the Arabs. We have the Indians, and many I might be forgetting, but they're all important parts of our community and our history and our heritage. But this year we decided to focus on the importance or the influence of black expression, the arts of black expression, which includes things like the visual arts, the performing arts, culinary arts, cooking, and so on and so on, fashion, design, etc., etc., music, all these things that we have, or I should say, the African influence has contributed to our history and our heritage, and it has been a very important influence. So, under that theme, the month of activities was held. Then we had a senior citizen social. This is not really open to the general public per se, because it's usually where we pinpoint the seniors, and they are invited to come and enjoy an afternoon of fun, of poetry, song, comedy, folklore. And this year for the folklore, we had the clowns out of St. Peter's and a wonderful string band, and they really entertained the crowd with some sweet, sweet music and dancing. And of course, the seniors themselves, they got involved. They brought their own poems, they brought their songs, they sang stuff, they gave some jokes, they gave little stories and so on. And our main performer for the event, as is usual, was Mr. Crichton Pension, a very notable performer and participant in history and heritage. And he, as usual, gave a very, very good performance in terms of taking the oldsters back to times before the things that we used to do. And they had such a great belly full of laughs at that thing, because it reminds them of everything that they used to do. So it was very, very fun and interesting. And then we had the History and Heritage Lecture, what we call the Sir Probyn Innis Memorial Lecture. Notice that is named after Sir Probyn to keep his legacy alive. And this was held on Thursday, 26th at 7 p.m. at the UWI Global Campus. And we thank the Global Campus for giving us the not only organizing it, but having it at their campus conference room. And we had, as the lecturer was Miss Carla Astafan, and she presented based again on the theme of celebrating the arts of black expression, past, present, and future, and gave a very sterling account of how the Africans came to the Caribbean under not so good conditions, as we know it, the conditions of slavery, but yet their contribution to the culture, the development, the economy, and everything else was extremely significant. And so she gave a very good account of not only historical background and the development over the years, and that was completely interesting. And the crowd, I should say, the audience responded by asking some very nice questions that brought out a lot about these things. And we thank Ms. Astafan for her presentation. And then we had the History and Heritage Hike. This one is usually organized by the St. Christopher National Trust, and again, we thank them for their involvement there. And this year we chose to go to Lambert's Estate. Lambert's Estate has what I think is one of the most impressive great houses that was constructed on St. Kitts in the years of King Sugar. And it's the kind of place that many people don't even know exists. Of course, everybody hears about Lambert's Estate, but having been there, many people have not been there. And the structure, the wall structure is still standing, and it was being restored some years ago, but unfortunately that project seemed to have stopped. And so the estate, great house, is falling to being overgrown again. And that is unfortunate, but I'm hoping that somebody, I don't know who that would be, would try to take some sort of a charge of the property and try to bring it back to at least some state of maintenance, so that the estate grounds and so on and the building can be viewed by persons visiting. But we had a very good time there, and while there, we also had persons who, well, we had Dr. Brown, who gave the history of the estate for those who were attending, and we had quite a good turnout. We had over nearly 60 persons attending the hike, which started from around the area by Virchild's, Wingfield area, and walked straight over to Lambert. It's only about maybe a mile and a half, if that much kind of walk, so it wasn't a very long walk. But we had a nice little walk, and then on the way we stopped by certain landmarks to kind of give people an interest in what's around, because it's amazing sometimes we are so busy on our way, we sometimes pass these things and pay them no notice. So, for example, we stopped at the St. Thomas Anglican Church. That happens to be one of the first Anglican churches that was established on St. Kitts. And I think it was a wooden church before, but that got burnt and was eventually replaced by a stone structure, which still stands today. Interestingly, that stone structure is, if one looks at it carefully, you would see that it's very similar in design to the St. George's Anglican Church in Bastille. And it had a tower very similar to the one in St. George. But unfortunately, in 1974, we had a huge earthquake, and that earthquake shook the tower down. There was a lot of damage throughout the island, but that was one of the most significant ones. The tower, about 1/3 of it fell, and up to today, it's still not been restored or repaired. I think that the problem, of course, there is money. Finding the money to do the repairs has been a challenge for the church, and therefore it still remains unrestored. I recall telling the folks there that I distinctly remember that day when the earthquake took place. And, well, I was in my bed early that morning. I don't remember the exact date, but I was in my bed early morning, and I was awoken by sound. And when I say sound, I could swear that every animal in the town were making noise. There were fowl, there were goats, there were sheep, I'm sure there were probably even cows, dogs barking. And this crescendo of noise from the animal kingdom was like, what is going on here? And I sort of sat up bolt upright in my bed trying to figure out what was happening. While doing so, all of a sudden now I heard something in the background, like a rumbling sound coming. And I was like, what is that? And before I could try to formulate an answer, the answer came. This violent shaking, right? And it shook and it shook and it shook and it shook and it shook. Of course, the only thing you can do at that time is hold on and make sure that, like the ad does say, drop, cover, hold on. And I wrote it out, and when it was done, everything just went quiet, except for the occasional dog would be barking, and the hens were still a little cackling and so on. And so I came out and looked around. Of course, in my vicinity, you couldn't see anything per se. But as the day went on, you heard about the various things that were damaged around. And that particular tower was one that suffered some of the greatest damage. It fell. In that yard, because it was one of the first churches in St. Kitts, and because it served basically the planter community of St. Kitts, a lot of important people are buried in its graveyard. You have tombstones there that have like crests, and it's only elite families have crests, family crests or individual crests. And most of the people who are buried there, you can see, are from the 1700s, in particular in the 1800s, because most of the gentry of the day were based in Old Road and that vicinity. So they are mostly buried there. They worshipped there and they were buried there. One person in particular that stood out is the notable Sir Thomas Warner. He died he was even earlier than that, than what I said there. He died in, I think, 1648. And he's buried there, and he had this most elaborate epitaph written on his tombstone. And we read it for the hikers, and it seems to indicate that Sir Thomas wrote the epitaph himself, but it talked about his military conquests and that sort of thing. And it was very, I would venture to say, egotistic, but interesting. You get a good smile out of it. So he died and was buried there, and the tomb is covered by a little gazebo to kind of highlight it, and also to protect the tombstone from weathering and so on. But right next to him, there's another tomb, also with a gazebo on it, that was placed there later when it was discovered that the person who was buried next to him was his greatest friend. His name was Samuel Jefferson. It turns out that Samuel Jefferson was the great-great-great-grandfather of the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. And so he's buried there. He died the year following the death of Thomas Warner, 1649. And he's buried right next to his friend. Not much written on his tombstone except to say, here lies the Samuel Jefferson, who departed this life, and they gave the date, and that's it. Very simple, and a very simple tombstone as compared to the elaborate one that Thomas Warner got. And for those of you who don't know who Thomas Warner was, he was the first appointed governor of the Antilles, who was sent from England to the Caribbean to establish a British colony or colonies. And he came directly to St. Kitts, and he established the first British colony there. It so happened that that was in 1623 when he came. It so happened that in 1625, a ship with French men landed in St. Kitts, but it was a badly damaged ship. It had a little skirmish with a Spanish galleon, and therefore, when they were trying to find a place of refuge, somewhere to recuperate and collect themselves and maybe even repair their ship, and they came upon St. Kitts, and they were welcomed in. But I think they liked the place and they stayed. And in the end, they therefore established the first French colony in the Eastern Caribbean. And so St. Kitts became a very important place because St. Kitts was now the first British and French colony in the Caribbean. And it is from St. Kitts that the other islands were colonized. Antigua, Barbados, and so on and so on, were colonized from St. Kitts. And the French islands like Guadeloupe and Martinique and so on were colonized from St. Kitts. So St. Kitts used to be called the mother colony of the Caribbean. And it was a very important British and French and colony. And so we have come from that beginning of being the mother colony of the Caribbean. So when we come back, we'll continue talking about these events, and we'll see you after this commercial break.
Found the sound 98.9 winnfm.
Rams the good food people, always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people, Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here. Better value, better prices, Rams is always here. Rewarding your loyalty, Rams is always here. We are community, we are family. We are family. Rams for you and me. We are community. Rams for you and me.
This is not a drill. Liat Air's 30-day advance sale is live right now. We're talking prices so low, you'll think we made a mistake. Spoiler alert, we did it. Say hello Barbados, hello St. Lucia, hello Antigua. Book 30 days ahead for ridiculously low fares across our Caribbean network. But hurry, seats are filling up like last roti at lunch fast. Visit www.flyliatair.com or call 1268-713-5428 today. Liat Air, pride of the Caribbean.
Okay, welcome back to History, South Heritage Matters. And we were talking about St. Kitts being the first colony of the British and French in St. Kitts. As a result, the island was divided between the two islands who lived mostly peaceably, but occasionally there was some conflict. And this is where some of these forts were built. You had Fort Charles, or Charles Fort, which was built to protect Sandy Point, which had then become the British capital, and Bastille became the French capital. But although they shared the island, the French, I don't think, were satisfied at all. The French wanted the entire island themselves, and so they were constantly trying to wrest it from the part that the British had from them. So the British built forts like Charles Fort, which was eventually overrun by the French, and that was in 1690. And the French, in trying to get that fort back from, the British, in trying to get their fort back from the French, they mounted some cannon on a hill behind the fort called Brimstone Hill. And they fired down on the French and were able to rout them from Charles Fort. This therefore meant that the British had to keep a presence at Brimstone Hill. So Brimstone was now developed as a secondary fort to Charles Fort. But in the years to come, they realized the importance of it and built a few more defenses up there and put some more cannon. In 1782, the French made another big attempt. They marched 8,000 troops from Bastille, came down, surrounded the hill for several weeks, firing on the British. The British eventually ran out of ammunition, fuel, well, not fuel, gunpowder, food supplies and so on, and water. And therefore, they had no alternative but to surrender. So the French defeated them then. They marched off the hill, but the French honored their fortitude by allowing them to march off without any hostility, and they allowed them to beat their drums and walk proudly off the hill. The French occupied the hill until the following year, 1783, when the British and the French signed a treaty to determine who gets what. And so that was settled there. But the French still weren't satisfied. They came back in 1805 and 1806 and tried again. But by then, the British had developed the fort. Having learned from the 1782 siege, they made sure that the hill had then, by then, become impregnable. And so the French could not defeat them. So that's just a little bit about that. One other event that took place for the History and Heritage month of activities was the Cultural Fair and Exhibition. This was put on at the Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College by the History Club of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College. They displayed a lot of artifacts and so on from long ago, always very interesting. And they also presented a fine variety of local food. You know, they had mackerel and fried fish and conky. You were there? Yeah, conky and cassava bread and all the nice stuff and provisions and so on, as we call it. So it was a very nice culinary affair, and we thank the History Club of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryan College for that. All right, so that was just a little rundown of History and Heritage Month. And next year we hope to come to you much earlier and let you know all the activities ahead of time, so you can be a part of it. Okay. Today, we have with us an illustrious gentleman called Mr. Elroy Brown.
No, Elvis Brown.
Sorry, Elvis
Brown. That's what my brother name, Elroy Brown.
Oh,
my brother,
okay.
And that's why he get mixed up with the name just now.
All right. So it's Elvis Brown.
Elvis Brown.
And they call you what?
Ras Elbow.
Ras Elbow.
Yes.
Tell me how you get a name like that.
Well, first, I get the name from myself, knowing that I name Elvis Brown. So I decided, well, since I name Elvis Brown, I will just look at it and say Elvis Brown sound close to elbow.
Uh-huh.
So
a short of each.
Short of each.
L
so,
for Elvis
and B
and
is Brown.
Right.
So I use the shortening elbow for Elvis Brown.
Okay.
And as a Rastafarian, you know, I carry the name, so everyone know me as Ras Elbow. You know, who know me as Elvis Brown is more like school people.
Formal,
And
yeah.
yes,
But the normal name is Ras Elbow.
Ras Elbow. Man.
Ras Elbow.
Yeah, man.
Well, Ras Elbow, welcome to the show.
Yes, man.
Glad to have you on today. And I understand you are in charge of a masquerade group. What's the name of that group?
The Vibe Masquerade International Group.
The Vibes Masquerade International Group. Okay. Tell me a little bit about the group.
Well, the group is a group just start about 2 years, going for 3 years. I think August coming going to be 3 years since we come together as a group, and you know we are doing so many things for a short time. You know, it's amazing to see what we have done for just 2 years, almost 3 years.
Okay. So it's a young group.
It's
When I say young, a new group.
But it's a new group with long-time fellas playing for different group. Used to play for a different group, and the group that
Okay.
we used to play for, it was naming Sail Masquerade Troop. Well, we are depart from that troop about 2 years and months now, and we decided to form a group. And I can remember me and my brothers who the one who sit down and decide where we have to find a name.
Yeah.
And the name have to be interesting of our group and culture and the people. And you know, one thing come to our meditation is the vibes.
The Vibes.
Yeah, the vibes. You know,
So where you all are based?
we'll be based in Upper Avenue, McKnight.
Okay. Because a lot of the cultural groups we hear about somehow seem to emanate out of St. Peter's. So it's good to hear that there's some in other areas, or you're out of McKnight. Yeah. Now, I understand that there is a group here from Santo Domingo,
Sure, right.
and you are involved with them. Tell us about that.
Well, as I understand, as we know, as we hear that UNESCO is here, and I think there is the bigger picture. And they have these cameramen from Santo Domingo to take the shoot of our folklore and the folkloric group, so that we can bring our history to our federation and to them, that they can use that history and put it wild world, you know.
Okay. Now, I understand that this group is here, led by a gentleman named, or is it a gentleman? Avelino. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's his name.
Avelino Stanley. And he's the son of an immigrant native of St. Kitts and Nevis who migrated to Santo Domingo. And it appears as though some of the traditions in Santo Domingo, in particular parts of Santo Domingo, might have come from St. Kitts, because they have these people called the Los Guloyas in San Pedro de Macorís. And it appears as though they started or took the Kittitian culture of masquerade and all the other things, mummies and clowns and all these things, to Santo Domingo. And so they're here trying to research the origins of this historical connection. And they are also trying to do a film to disseminate the results of this research in the Dominican Republic, in St. Kitts and Nevis, and throughout the Caribbean.
Right.
And it seems as though they have already filmed part of the project, and they are now in St. Kitts. They'll be here until tomorrow. But I think they were supposed to be on the show with us today, but they had some interviews to do in Nevis, because they're also trying to connect with family members who are in Nevis also and St. Kitts to get the full story and put it together in their film documentary. So they are coordinating this with the Department of Culture and the Ministry of Creative Economy. And hopefully this will strengthen the bonds of brotherhood between both the countries of St. Kitts, Nevis, and Santo Domingo. So we welcome them here, and we hope that they are doing well. And I think that they are talking with people like yourself from the Vibes Masquerade Group. So Have you met with them and tell us a bit about
Yes,
about
well,
that?
we met with them. First, we met with them was up in the Water Park Cricket Stadium. Had a little, well, it was a surprise from the culture department and the creative economy. And as they is the one in charge for the folklore, so they invite us to a meeting because we did do a history about our culture in St. Kitts, and it was supposed to be like to the group were here. So they surprised us and tell us must come through and listen to see what we said and if it please us. But it was a surprise with the team. And we went there and we see all what been said in our history from the folklore in our federation. And they decide that they have to come here in St. Kitts to get everything because history have to be told in this part of our Caribbean. Because first, we all know we are black people and we are descendant from Africa. And everything come from Africa, the music. And the folk that we do here in the Caribbean, this is what come from St. Kitts, the Federation. So everything have to come together as one, as we are black people. So they was here to get the history of our culture. And I think we present the culture to them, present everything to them. So I'm here today to finish whatever little I have to say about our culture, our island, and the Federation, because culture belongs to us. We are rich in our culture. That is our inheritance. And when you say that San Domingo have the same like us, clone, this, that, and they take it from the Caribbean. And it's because we are one people, one people, and till we are one people, I think they do the right thing to follow the tradition back in this Caribbean.
Yeah.
You know, the masquerade, and I can recall
The mummies,
the
David and
mummies,
Goliath.
David and Goliath,
Yeah.
because all these have a history, you know. And the history is about our country, our black inheritance. And it's good to come here today to speak up our inheritance because we are rich in our inheritance. This is our riches. Other countries rich in money and gold, but the Caribbean, as black people, we are rich in our culture. And I think if the culture have to stand number one, the age where we have to come and speak up our culture. That's the only way we can get our people to understand we are the one in the Caribbean as black awareness. We have the culture, we have the riches, and we need to spread it because it's good for the children's future in the school. And remember, this could be a part of the education in the school that the children can grow up to know the stars in everything. Just like how you have the cricket, you have Richards, you have Holding, Roberts. In our sports culture,
Yeah.
as we call it folklore, we have to know with people that they can have it in the school as a subject. Because if we don't have our culture, we will be running from ourselves. And I always said to myself, this is one thing that they never stole from us, our culture.
Yeah.
They stole the West thing, but they couldn't stole our culture. So as I say, some people rich in money and some rich in gold, but our riches is our culture.
Now, is there supposed to be, there's a documentary film coming out of it. Is there a screening for that film sometime soon?
Yes, soon just see what happened. They get all the folklore to do that day. We do a thing up in Shadwell side. I think they where Miss Skerritt used to live.
Right.
And
Shadwell Great House.
and they take everyone. I think they do us 3 or 4 folklore at a time in a day, and just to get the history that they can present it to the world about our culture in the Caribbean. You know, so I think what they're doing is very great, and not just great for me and you, but for the children's future. We can't left that out.
That's right.
They are the future, you know.
So this documentary will be ready for when? When is on the show?
Well, I think they didn't give us a direct date when it happened, but they say, well, what they're doing, they're going to our federation, our sister island, and they will put everything together. But soon, just now, we'll be getting it.
Okay.
So I think we will get that and know that from the culture department, you know.
Okay, they will give us an idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody from culture might be listening right now, and they can give us a call if there's any information we need to know about that. Yeah, so it's amazing, I think, that a little island like St. Kitts has had such an influence on the wider Caribbean. I didn't even know that we had such an influence on the Santo Domingan, the Dominican community with our folklore and our heritage there. But I am aware that it has had a serious influence on Bermuda, right? Bermuda have some kind of masquerade tradition that they call the Gumbe. And apparently that came from Kittitians who migrated to Bermuda and carried the tradition with them. The music and the dance and the costumes. Of course, they kind of modified the costumes in a different way in Bermuda. I would venture to say a little more colorful and free, but it's essentially much of the same thing.
Yes.
And so that has spread to those parts. And I looked at a documentary film that was produced by the BBC. Probably looked like it was back in the 50s or something like that. And they were talking about the steel pan, and they showed the making of the steel pan. Of course, we know that came out of Trinidad, and that again is another Caribbean thing that has spread throughout but coming out of Trinidad. And when they showed the kind of carnival activity that they had in Antigua, it showed clowns, as we do the clown, and the dances were very similar to what we do here. Now, I don't know where the start for that one in Antigua is, whether St. Kitts was imitating the Antiguans or whether it's the Antiguans imitating St. Kitts. I don't have any definitive answer on that. But I did see it and I was like, wow, this looks just like the clowns that we have here. The same costumes, and this was back in the 1950s, and the same similar dances and whatnot. Yeah, so how many groups were involved when they came? And
You mean the UNESCO?
yes, and the
Well, I think we have about 5 to 6 masquerade group right now in St. Kitts. And we have a lot of bull. We have actors, we have mummies. And I think everyone take a part in the history.
okay.
Everyone. And I want to touch on the Bermuda masquerade clothes you just speak about. Because it's history,
Yep.
And St. Kitts have to be the number one for real, because they're going to tell you, I have a history, and my history, the costume that you see them have, so pretty down,
Yeah.
that take it off of my clothes. And I'm going to give you the history of it. Well, first we have 2 masquerade group in St. Kitts. From the time I know myself playing masquerade, I played over 51 years now.
Wow.
And from the time I start playing masquerade, it was just 2 groups. It was Samuel Masquerade Troupe and Procop at Baker's Corner. He was the manager for my troupe.
I remember Procop.
Tea Time, man, if you know Tea
I know
Time.
Tea Time.
Tea Time was the drummer. And he all the tune pan, make pan, steel pan.
Tea Time, tall, slim Tea Time.
No, he have 2 brothers. One named Ranny Monkey and one named Tea Time. Tea Time was slim, not tall, but slim. Used to live in the goods section by the market.
Okay.
He used to make pan, steel pan, and still pound kettle drum.
Okay.
So at that time, he was just 2 masquerade troupe in St. Kitts. And I remember he had a man, I can't remember the name of the man, but he was from St. Kitts, living just close the CHA and Victoria Road. He and Mr. Procop was 2 good friends. And I remember 1976 when my costume they make. My costume they made just like the Bermuda costume with the fur and everything. And one day the man come to Mr. Procop and he tell Mr. Procop he like to see the costume. And he would like to take it back to Bermuda so they can get the fitting and get to make the costume from my costume. Well, I was young at that time, around 11 years, 10 to 11 years. And I just couldn't take up my costume and just give it there. So my mother said that she spent too much money to make that costume at that time. So they have to go to my mother and go to Mr. Prokop. And Mr. Prokop was in charge of our group, so he was responsible for my costume. So he made the deal with my mother that the costume will return back to St. Kitts in good shape, that we can have it to dance in his group. And my mother, as mothers, how they will be reacting, make sure that come back, make sure this. So it did come back. So I was trying to say that the costume that the Bermuda have right now, it come from my costume.
Okay.
So that's a history.
So it was you alone had that costume
Well,
or the group?
At the time now, the masquerade troupe them used to put on ribbon. They used to put on like straps, British cloth, but they make from the pants and the shirt, and they put them on. But my mother now, as my mother decided she wants her son clothes made with ribbon, because the lady who was making the clothes, she named Tantan from Upper Friends Avenue.
Okay.
She used to make costume like masquerade clothes, clown clothes, and the masquerade clothes she used to make was for Nevis people. She was the one who used to make the Nevis costume. So the year when she make cause the Nevis costume used to be just like mine with the four to the end. So what happened when my costume make, she was the first make my costume, and then my costume went to Bermuda, and that year, and they come to St. Kitts a year to see our troupe, our fuck-up troupe. But he had a year that we never playing. For some reason, the troupe never playing. I think he had a riot. I think it's 1993 had riot.
93 or something.
So we didn't have a fully carnival. But we had the folklore, them going places like in the country to dance for the country people, but not on the road in Chubastia. And I remember that they come, and the culture department, they bring them to me and my brother. Because at that time, me and my brother was like, people to say we were the best masquerade dancers. Everybody got a favor.
Yeah.
So they said we were the best. So my costume come from me with the Bermuda. They come to see us, but we did not play. And we get to see how they dress. They were just in white long shirt.
Yeah, because I noticed that the base for their costumes was white.
Yeah, white.
Yeah.
So they had on white, and they come to us, and they had 3 kettle drum, different two. We just deal with 1 kettle drum and a bass and a 5. But they had 3 kettle drum playing the same beat, and it not sound mixed up, just in to the beat that they want to knock. And it was very interesting to see 3 kettle drum. That the first time I ever see that. And the performance of the masquerade was different to our Kittishan and Nivijan dance. They dance in a kind of like do a lot of splitting and different formation in the dance. Dance different to us, but it's masquerade. They are masquerade, but dance different. So every country have a different. All of its
Everybody
masquerade.
take the same thing and modify it for
Yes.
their particular purpose.
Right, and the dance different. Also, the Mountchat masquerade, the dance different. We and the Nivijan, we dance similar.
Yeah.
But we Kittishan dance a little more faster, a little more brisker, and the Nivijan. But everything, tell you the truth, I always say the Nivijan is where we look at, because they had the best musician, and it might not be the best dancer, but I think the older dancers. And I can remember my troupe from Prokop troupe had about 7 Nivijan dancing with us. I had 3 dancers from Nevis, was my family. The captain named Sower, he had Bernard, and he had Sonny. And then he had others, young one that I did not know. But these 3 elders, I know them because they was like my inspire. I inspire from these people. These people like help me motivate my performance in dancing.
Yeah.
So I will always say that the Nevis is the first, the first that I look upon with the masquerade. And then through dancing with my fellow men from here, I improve more and more till I can be, one of the best dancers in the federation.
You mentioned their prowess in the music. I mean, they have some of the best string bands.
Yes, and I gave me the string band.
And the fife.
And the fifer, I will call him the best, because you see, that fifer could have blown masquerade 5 and still blow for string band. We 5 of us here only could have blow just for masquerade.
Okay.
So that is why I always to say the Nevis was the number one in our culture. But today, I think we outpower them in our troops. We have more masquerade troops. We just have one clown. But the clown today now, I don't think we follow no other country with the clown. I think the clown come from our federation. You know, he had a man named Lalaps.
Yeah.
And I think he was the founder of that clown. I think he was the founder of that
Of the clowns.
Yeah. And today we want to bring back the clown. But today, we ain't seeing the clown dance. We seeing the costume. Putting on the costume is not dancing clown.
Yeah.
You have to dance the clown. And I don't think they get to that level.
Well, I can tell you, maybe you haven't seen them recently, but the group that performed for our history and heritage senior citizens, we also saw them last year, is a young group.
I know. My brother teach that group from
And when I
Mount
say
Hill.
young, I'm talking about teenagers and so on and so on.
My brother teach
young
them.
people.
My brother teach them.
And they have learned the traditional clown dance, which, like you say, I haven't seen for a long time. So they were doing this same old to-do kind of clown stuff and so on, you know? Getting down low and the swapping and so on, right? And I was so pleased to see that because I actually thought that I was long lost,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
in the sense that the clowns now, as you mentioned, they are just simply putting on clown troops, clown costumes, going on the road and doing their own individual things behind the bands. And one of the things I'm also kind of disappointed to see is that there's no clown music anymore.
Okay.
The clown music seemed to have disappeared because they had a distinct kind of music, different to the masquerade, different to the mummies, different to the everybody else, you know. When you hear clown music, you know it's clown music. What I noticed has been happening when you do have what people might call a clown troupe, they played pre-recorded clown music on Wi-Fi on the road rather than the live clown band.
Okay. Well, I see what happened really, you know, as we culture in our federation, it was seemed to dying, you know, and the we see that it was dying. And I think the culture department, they look into it and they try to gather someone who have experience about the clown to get the clown together. And my brother is the one who take up to go and teach these little youths in Monk Hill, because the Monk Hill have, the police boy have clown troupe, and he teach them to do the dance.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that is good, but I think it need to go in the school, because you see, I'm gonna show you, everything start from the school.
You gotta start with the youngsters.
Everything start, and they are the trees. And if you don't water the tree, that tree won't come to bring no food.
I like the
Yeah, it won't be to bring no food. So to say that is like cat in the school, because if you cat is in the school, the young one them is the one who gonna take in everything.
That is how we got the steel pan revived,
Yes.
by going in the schools.
In the school.
And so
Everything
we
I
need to
take
do
in the
that.
school.
Anyway, we're gonna take a little break now for commercials, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beats in every soul, a feeling we cannot It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spark. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong, no matter what, we keep things flowing. For the people we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky, celebrate and come let your rhythm flow, flow.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Okay, we're back on Heritage Matters, and I want to welcome everyone back. And we have with us Mr. Elvis Brown, but better known as Ras Elbow. And we were talking about the masquerade culture in St. Kitts and how it has spread throughout the Caribbean, in particular to the Dominican Republic and the Bermuda. But he has an interesting story to tell about an Anguilla connection. Tell us about that.
Well, first, it's a good history. First, when we went to Anguilla, it was a funeral. We went to this veteran, Mackie Gums. Used to be a masquerade dance with truck up masquerade for many years, and he was my motivator. And he passed off, so we decided to go to Anguilla and, go to the funeral.
So he was an Anguillan?
He was, well, no, he was Kittitian.
Uh-huh.
But he lived in Anguilla,
Okay.
work in Anguilla. So we decided to go to Anguilla as a surprise to the family. And so we went to Anguilla, and we went and we had the funeral. And at that time we to Anguilla, the 50 years of Carnival was coming up in August. 'Cause we went in, I think it's March to April, we went for the funeral. And the Carnival was coming up in August, that same year. And true, we went to that funeral and to see what we do. They decided that they're going to invite us to their 50 years of Carnival.
So you performed at the funeral?
We performed at
dance
the funeral, at
Okay.
the church, and at the funeral.
Okay, great.
And true now we get the opportunity to go back for carnival. They opened the gate for us to go to England because the performance we have done in Anguilla, it opened up the gate for people to see, and so we get called to go to England. And we went to England for St. Kitts and Nevis in Heritage Day. And we went to there in Birmingham, and we went to Leeds for the parade. And going there, it was so beautiful to see so much Kitishan at them to place. Couldn't believe they all them was Kitishan, and it's so we put on the performance and make our history in England.
Okay, that was great. That was great. You have any videos or anything from that you still have?
Yes, we have our
You gotta
videos.
put
but
something together and
yes,
and,
we have
and show us
everything
what it
because
is.
sure we have a manager, a management team. And you see, it's good to have those kind of people managing like groups or team because I think when you have a manager and a manager team, I think everything will go well.
Yeah.
Because they know if it's whatever team it is, we can't decide on we own. You have to come from management rule. And I
Okay.
think every management team and every team have a rules and regulation. And we stick with our rule and regulation as a team. So we doing so great in management. And I think we do that there to show other groups that to success in what you're doing, it's good to have management, a manager and management team because
And they can focus on the organizing of things while you
Everything.
focus on the talent and the
yes.
the dance and the
Everything,
music.
man.
Yeah.
And I could tell you that they're doing a good, wonderful work. You know, they're doing some good work for us.
Okay.
And we'll be traveling back again to Anguilla for a wedding
Okay.
in April.
That's by invitation also.
Invitation
You
also.
see, you're popular
And
over there
we're
now.
going back again to Carnival. They done book us up for Carnival.
Okay, nice,
So
nice.
it's only to show if we keep our culture ahead, we will see what we will get our culture for our federation. And again, we want to bring the region back together with our folklore. Because once we used to be 3 states, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla. And because we are independence, that's not mean that we can show our culture to our sister islands
That's
in the
right.
region. So we went there and we do a workshop.
Okay.
We do a workshop with the school, the 5 school we went to, and we do a workshop. And I can tell you, them children respond was so great that they asked some question that I couldn't believe they asked question, not knowing they know nothing about the culture. But they asked some question because we kept films of what we have done to school in Orishtown. We workshop down there, and we show them everything that we are doing for the children. And also, we have a small divide masquerade troupe that we had last year for the first, and it was beautiful.
Wonderful.
So right now, we're having a workshop coming up for the Easter summer in Orishtown School, and it going good. It going good.
Good.
Yes.
All right, nice to hear. Now we have another person joining us this morning. His name is Dawson Woodley. Mr. Woodley, welcome. Don't know if he's hearing me. Don't look as though he's hearing me.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. That Dawson?
Yes, Dawson.
Dawson.
Yes.
Okay. Dawson Woodley. Okay. How are you today?
Doing all right, sir. I'm doing all right. Just
Okay.
listening in. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome to Heritage Matters, and we're glad to have you on the show, even though at short notice. Thanks for being able to join us.
Yes, my pleasure.
Tell me about what you do in the field of culture and heritage.
Well, my name is Dawson Woodley. I'll introduce myself. I'm the bass drummer for St. Peter's Actors, and I'm also the general manager for St. Peter's Bringing Back the Culture. So you spoke earlier about the clowns and the clowns not having using their traditional music. That's been our dream for the longest while, and it's been brought to reality. Now our clowns have a string band, the St. Peter's string
Yes, I
band.
see you have a string band, and that string band plays really nice. and I think they are trying very, very nicely to play um, as close to the original clown music that they can.
Yes.
Is there any intention to actually, instead of just say string band, bring back the clown band, or you just leave it with
What
the
do you
string
mean?
band?
Explain to me more what you mean by that. As
Well,
in,
the clown music was so distinct.
mm,
It it included a little drum, not a big drum. Included that big pipe, uh,
the
that
bajo, yeah,
train whistle. You know what I mean
mm,
by the train whistle, right?
yeah,
To do, to do, to do, to
yeah.
do.
Yeah, we
And
were made
quite
aware that we were missing a couple of elements, and so we're working on getting them involved as
okay.
well.
All right, that's good and
So
that's interesting, because I think when you heard that clown music, it really gave the full aura of what we look for in the clown. But the string band music is fine, and the clowns dance to it. So you're involved with that St. Peter's clown troupe?
yes, they come under one big heading. St. Peter's bringing back the culture.
Oh, St.
So we
Peter's
have
bringing back the
we have
culture.
St. Peter's clowns, we have the St. Peter's actors, the Cowboy and Indians, the Monkey Hill Bull Troop, the Camp Culture Bull Troop, and the Explorer Bull Troop.
Okay. Um, Interesting. So they come under one umbrella. I noticed
Yes,
that I like the terminology, St. Peter's bringing back the culture. And it seems as though St. Peter's is and has been for a long time literally the hotbed of cultural performance over the
yes.
years.
Well, um, it's been brought to my attention that St. Peter's is actually the technically the origin of folklore in the Federation, with the St. Peter's actors being one of the first folklore in the Federation, being established all the way back in 1937, sharply after the Buckley's Uprising. So a number of folklore troops come out of St. Peter's, including the clowns, and by extension, the entire Tea Party, which would include the Millionaires and the Japanese Girls.
We haven't heard about those last two for quite a while. Is there an
Yes,
effort to?
we incorporated them in our last performance for the folklore competition. We had one of the Millionaires and the Japanese Girls dancing around the ring.
Okay, I missed that because I came to that show, but unfortunately I had something else pressing and I had to leave early, so I missed that. But I
Mhm.
would have loved to have seen that. Give me an idea of what the Millionaires uh, troupe was like.
Well, we're doing a lot of research, and to be quite frank with you, I'm not necessarily an expert when it comes to the entire Tea Party. I only know of the elements, but I'm not sure as to how they would have interacted in a performance. So we're doing the research to get that finished so that we can have the entire Tea Party. But that is a long way away. There's
Okay,
not much
okay.
information that was well preserved um, to document how their performance would have looked.
Uh-huh, okay, that's interesting. The Tea Party. I don't remember ever hearing about the Tea Party, but I've heard of the Japanese girls.
Yeah,
Um,
because they were, sorry not to cut you off, but they were part of the one big group as the Tea Party, but over time they would have split off into the
into
various different
individual
groups. So you
groups.
have the clowns, the millionaires, and the Japanese girls. Then
Oh, I
they're
see.
known more as those separate entities.
So, do you have a good contingent of Japanese girls ready for upcoming Christmas and Carnival
Not
celebration?
yet,
Not yet,
not yet.
but you
No.
intend to.
Well, an intention is different from what is possible to be accomplished, but um, I don't want to speak too soon and then we're not able to do it.
Okay,
But we would love to.
Okay.
I'll say that we would love
But
to.
at least you're focusing on what is possible and what
Yes,
you
we
do.
will. For this year, we're focusing more on refining all the acts that we already have, as opposed to introducing a new group.
Okay. And what are those acts you said that you already have?
The St. Peter's Actors,
Uh-huh.
the St. Peter's Clowns, accompanied by the St. Peter's String Band, Monkey Hill Bull Troupe, the Explorers Bull Troupe, and the Camp Culture Bull Troupe.
Okay, so three bull, three bull
Yeah,
troops.
three bulls.
Okay,
That's
and
one of
then
our most popular folklore acts is the bull. So we
okay,
have so many people coming in wanting to play the bull that we had to split it up into three groups. And the three groups are mainly split up by age range. So you have the Camp Culture Bull Troupe, which is our younger group, the Explorers Bull Troupe, which is mainly older children and teenagers, and then the Monkey Hill Bull Troupe, which is primarily adults.
the bull seem to be very popular, and
Yes,
I remember when we in the early days when the bull hits the road, people start to run. They want to see, but at the same time, the women especially, they're getting
yeah,
ready to run. And the bull used to have a time of their life trying to terrorize the kids
right.
and the women. Yeah. Now, the string band, tell me about that.
Well, the String Band is our newest addition. Um, their first performance would have been earlier this year, and they also performed with the Clowns um, for the summit that they had here a few weeks ago. And that would have been their first big performance, the largest performance for our Clowns as well locally would have been for that summit. Um, their
Also, so both
practices,
the string band and the clowns appeared on the summit.
yes,
Okay,
the Clowns
nice.
are already well established. They would have started since last year, but this is the first time that they performed on such a large stage with the string band as well. The string band is mostly children, taught by Wayne Simmons, and I can't remember the name of, right, Herschel Brown, I think. Those are their two mentors, and they have practices right down at the Washington Archibald High School on Thursdays.
Okay, okay, nice, nice. And the actors, just one actor troupe you have?
Yes, one actor troupe in the entire federation,
And that has
being the
always
St.
been
Peter's Actors.
the St. Peter's group, yeah, and that has always been a hit.
Yes.
Do they have any new parts to their act, or they just follow the traditional act that has been there?
But going back to the competition, one of our staples for the competition is the one of the larger pitchfork on fire.
Ah, yes.
That is, yes, that is our new addition to it, as well as incorporating one of the youngest people to perform in the actors. He's, I think, 5 years old, a short little child. If you see him, you might think he's even younger than 5, but he also performed with us. And we also brought back the devil, which hasn't been seen for a number of years in the actors. So we also brought that back for the competition.
Okay. The actors now. I remember they used to have what you call it. Part of the act was breaking a stone on
Yes, we
the
still do that.
stomach. You still do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but we save that mostly for competitions.
Okay.
So for competitions, we would do the entire performance, which would include the breaking of the stone.
Right, right. Now I remember when they used to go around as a mobile unit. They go from place to place and so on and so on. They used to carry these stones with them.
Yes.
So you still drag these stones, and of course, if you're gonna break a stone in front of one audience, you're gonna need another stone to break down the road and then down the road and down the road.
Yep.
So they probably
So
had
it's difficult for us to do it on for a parade per se,
yeah,
especially with a lot of the group being children. It's not
mm-hmm.
impossible, but it would be extremely difficult to do.
Yeah,
So
and
we
then
stray away
you.
from doing it
But the thing
other
is,
than
today
for
you can have
competition.
a vehicle following the group with the stones in
That
there
is true,
rather than them
yes.
have to carry it by crocus bag or whatever or wheelbarrow.
That is true. So, like I said, it's not impossible.
Hmm.
And I won't say that we'll never do it, but it's not something that we practice doing
Okay,
or we will do often.
you focus more on the fork jumping and that sort of thing
Yeah, the fart jumping and dancing.
and dancing. Okay, yes, nice, great. Uh, so, is there anything new that the St. Peter's Bring Back the Culture group is looking at or planning to introduce?
I don't think we're not planning on introducing anything um new per se. Just a lot of reorganizing internally, and yeah, this is new. The whole St. Peter's bringing back the culture is new. This is the first time that you've had folklore groups banded under one banner.
Mm-hmm.
Something like this has never been done before. So we're looking to make sure that this is something that isn't just fleeting. It's not just here and then the next 10 years it's not here. We want it to be here to stay. So we're
Okay,
working on establishing it officially.
right, nice, good work. I like the fact that you guys are working so hard to focus on the culture, and of course, I like to see that it's being led by young people because that is where we need to put the
Yes,
focus rather than letting the old guys have to keep carrying the mantle and the weight. So it's good to, and I think that that means that that the older folks have sown the seed for the youngsters to take up and carry. As you probably know, we have with us today Ras Elbow. You familiar with Ras Elbow?
yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Ras Elbow, you got any questions for
elbow.
him?
Yes, Rastaman, we just love the
Yes, I.
utterance of what you're dealing with, and I know you will get there because you gotta love it from your heart, and I know I can feel the vibes of you all as you all come back with the actor. I remember the actor was out for a time, and when Ava was there and pension, I think I used to hear Ava say they're gonna have to get back you all. And I see now
Yeah,
you all are doing wonderful. You all bring back so many things in the art of culture, and I want you all keep that spirit alive. Keep it alive because without this culture, we have nothing. So I congratulate you
right.
all and keep this spirit alive. Yeah, man. Bless up, Ras.
Thank you for that. I heard the shout out earlier for the policeman, Aiden Hendrickson. He is the CEO and the founder of St. Peter's Bringing Back the Culture. And he is the beating heart of St. Peter's Bringing Back the Culture. And some people would even consider him the beating heart of culture on a whole or across the entire of St. Kitts and Nevis.
What's his name again?
He puts in Aiden Hendrickson.
Aiden
He's a
Hendrickson.
police
Yeah,
officer.
that's the
Okay.
master from
Yes,
there.
he's from St. Peter's as well. And his passion is really the bull. That is his passion, but um, his passion has also bled into every other folklore discipline and wanting to bring back the acts that we haven't seen for a number of years, which would include the actors and the clowns and the cowboy and Indians. We only have between St. Kitts and Nevis, there's only two clown groups that I can think of. You have the jumping clowns out of Nevis and the St. Peter's clowns here in St. Kitts. And I heard Elbow speaking earlier about people wearing the clown suit, or at least half of it, but not performing the clown dance. And so that is something that we're trying to rectify. Although I'll say here as a young person that I wouldn't discourage anybody from wearing the cultural wear, the clown suit, even if that may be half a clown suit, because I believe that any display of our culture is worthwhile, and us young people also possess the right to come in and put our own twist on things. And I would encourage the older folks who um, might not like to see how it's being done to not discourage young people from doing it, but instead seek to guide them on a better way of expressing themselves and expressing their cultural identity. Because culture is dynamic and it's ever changing. It's not going to stay the same forever. So
That is
you're either
true.
going to be a part of that change or you're going to be left behind.
That is true, but what I tend to wonder is whether people have taken up that practice because really and truly they love the clown tradition and want to kind of be a part of it, but there were no organized clown troops, as it were, to express themselves in, and so they just get a costume and jump in any band and so on and so on. I personally don't like the half a costume. If you can put on a costume, put on the costume. You know what I mean?
Yes, but what I
But
would say for the half a costume though is even for our clown troupe, a full clown suit is very, very expensive. So it would be difficult for children, especially, to get enough money to get a full clown suit. Especially with them being so popular now, the prices have increased even higher. So I could understand why a lot of them would opt to have half a clown suit. Although I do believe um, it's just being it's just because it's become more popular. As you see someone do it, you want to do it as well. But either way, I still do believe that it's worth doing to showcase our culture.
okay, perhaps though, with the attempt at reviving the clowns and so on into organized troops now, maybe we might now find that as a good avenue to now take up
Hmm.
and follow the interest in it. Now having something organized. How do you feel about that?
I think that not everybody's doing it because they love the clowns. That's just the truth. But if you're around it for long enough, eventually you build that interest into wanting to get deeper into it and exploring what it comes from and even wanting to learn the traditional clown dance. So I see it as sort of a light introduction into being a part of the clowns and being a part of culture. Maybe you might not even want to be involved in the clowns, but being being in that clown suit, maybe you might find that you're more interested in joining the masquerade, for example, or the bull. And so it's sort of a gateway for some, and for others, it's just a fashion statement. But
Yeah, I think
those
that you
with
just said is more of it. Yeah,
a fashion
a
statement, right?
fashion statement.
It's the in thing.
The in
Yeah.
thing, right. And the thing is, if you don't want to really join another carnival troupe, you can put on a clown suit and just be anywhere you want to be.
Mhm.
And maybe also the clown suit might give some people what I tend to say a certain degree of anonymity, because you
Mhm.
put on a clown suit, you can't quite see the body to recognize a person by their body,
Yeah, and
and
they also come with the mask as
you
well.
have the mark, so you can't see who they are. So it gives you a high degree of anonymity. You walk around in a clown suit and you just be yourself, have fun and do what you want to do without being identified per se. I remember when I had friends who used to play clown, and when they come to people that they know, of course the people don't know who they are, so they will walk straight up to them, they'll do a dance and so on, and they just pull the mask up, so the person can see who it is, and then they disappear in the crowd again. You know,
Right.
so people used to like to use it as a sort of source of anonymity to have fun without being recognized for who they were.
Right, but my question to you is, what would be the alternative to put on a troop suit, a bathing suit, as most of them appear to be, and what would you prefer? Would you prefer the half a clown suit, or to have the children walking the streets in a bath suit?
When we say half a clown suit, what are we looking at?
They typically they use the bottoms, the trousers, or the clown suit, just
That's
the
what I thought, but
pants.
I don't think the clown suit has a trouser and a top. It's one
No,
suit
it's
all in
one
one.
piece.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Russell, what do you think
But
about
that is
that?
the alternative. They either
I would like to
get
say
in that
something.
that
I ain't play clown no time at all, but my brother teach me clown. And if we
mhm,
be dealing with the culture, remember we can't take away nothing from it. We have to bring the original. And the original right now what I see with the clown is like a dress wear. The same half a uniform that they're wearing as a clown suit with half down here and upside naked. If you check it out what they're doing, you don't find the young girl them have a bag on the shoulder. So when you look at that, it's like a dress coat and it's not so clown supposed to be. You're supposed to get the original. And the original is the whole clown suit uniform over the body. And as the man just speaks saying that sometimes you go by your friend in your clown suit and your mask and they don't know who you are until you put up the face. You will do a little dancing and then you put up the face to see who you are, then you disappear. And I think that's the tradition of clown, not just putting on the clown suit half because I don't think that's the original clown dancing and clown uniform. If you have a check back and talk to the elders about the clown, they will tell you that never been there before. So why now we bring him back? We want to bring back the clown, the original clown, to do the clown dance and to show the people in the federation that we're bringing back the original clown. But when you look at it, you're bringing back the clown with like just code, half, and we have to get rid of that. And I remember having a troop, the clown troop used to have to be a clown and join a clown troop, you have to get a rosette. That rosette there is to be on your chest. And if you don't have on that on your clown suit, you can't come in the tube. So I think you all should look at that too, that if people want to play clown and come dance clown at Christmas time, they have to have a rosette to put on the shirt because it will look to see you all have a tube, clown tube, have your parading, and then all kind of people just different to you all and come in between. It don't look good. So we want to carry tradition real. Because people, as elder people in the foreign country, know that that's not clown. That's not clown dancing and not clown dressing. So not trashing nobody, but if we want to carry the culture real, we can't take nothing from it, neither add nothing from it. The only thing you can do to add to it is create yourself with more performing and look more better performing it. You can't add nothing. So I think we have to get the clown straight. And I know you all will get it in time to come because I know you are learning and getting everything because my brother was the one who teach you all to dance the clown sports. He's the only clown right now dancing clown. And last year he never dancing, but year before he won dance clown. And everybody want to know well, where he was. How come we can't get the clown troupe to farm and to do the dance just like him because we have to come original. We can't take away and add nothing. So I'm just want to just show a little, advice to you all, you and your management team. Just get the clown right. Sport is always there for you all to teach you all, and I know you all willing because I can see last year performance look much better. The moment you all do it is much better, and I see you all learning. And if you are learning, you all will get it. So just let the people know that you can't come between your troop just in half. It don't look good in the federation when people look at it. So I know you all will get it straight. So that is my point.
Okay, well, what I would say is for our clowns are dressed from head to toe in the traditional way,
Good.
right? And what I'm not saying that that's how we are moving forward. We at St. Peter's bringing back the culture. We um part of our mission is to bring back the authentic um acts as close to the original as possible. However, I think it's important to have a distinction between the traditional way of doing things and how we do it now. Because as I said earlier, culture is dynamic,
Sure
it's
right.
ever changing.
Sure right.
And so we still have the right to come in and add as we see fit onto the culture, while still being able to look back and say, okay, this is traditional, this is how it used to be done, this is how it's, you might say, supposed to be done, but this is how we do it now. This is how we've changed it. Because we still deserve to have our mark on the culture and to
Sure
be able
right.
to say, well, this is what we brought to it, and not necessarily just this is how it's supposed to be and that's it. Because when you do that, you lose a lot of young people. Because young people are supposed to be innovative. We're supposed to come in and add things to what is there before and not just continue with it as is.
Okay, I
But I
understand
still
your
think
point of
it's
view. It's a
important to
a
have
good
that.
point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
I think still think it's important to have that distinction of tradition and how it's being done now. And that is part of the reason why we also have our YouTube channel to document how it is being done and also how it's supposed to be done. So you could actually go on our YouTube channel and you can even see how our performances have changed over the years.
For
So nothing
those
has
who are
been lost.
interested, what's the I don't know how to say it, the connection for the YouTube channel?
You can find us on YouTube at St. Peter's Bringing Back the Culture, also on Instagram and Facebook. If not, you can also find our performances on Aiden Hendrickson's social media platforms at Aiden Hendrickson on all platforms. So that's where you can find us. And that's where a number of our younger audience were first introduced to us. Um, for example, the Bull Troop, having those two younger troops being the Camp Culture Bull and Explorers Bull, a number of them came already knowing the skit or being familiar with the skit from watching our YouTube channel.
Yeah, the
So
social media is definitely a good way of getting the word around and getting a following because they might see it online and they say, I want to do that. You get a lot of
right,
people,
especially it's especially great to reach out to the younger generation.
and that is where, and even Russell was saying the same thing, that with the culture, the young generation is important. And he was even saying that he's an advocate for putting it in the schools so that
Right,
you can uh, uh, get the youngsters interested from an early age and want to join rather than thinking, oh, well, I have to wait until I am an adult to get into that.
right,
And that is one of the things I was particularly admiring about the St. Peter's Clowns because what I saw when they appeared, I saw them the first time last year and then saw them again this year, is that it was a bunch of youngsters, real youngsters, you know.
yes,
And what I liked about them is that they did the original clown performance, you know,
right.
and that was
St.
really
Peter's
something.
Bringing Back the Culture. It started as a community initiative to give the youth something positive to do with their time, which would leave less time for them to fall into less favorable activities like um, being in gangs, drinking, smoking, and I would say it has been successful.
And that is
A number
commendable.
of yes, a number of those that we identified to be at risk, they're in a much better position now. Some of the earlier generations of St. Peter's Bringing Back the Culture, who are involved in our senior groups now, have done a complete 180 in the direction of their life. Some of them were heading into very dark territory, and we are proud to say that they're in a much better position now.
Well, that is highly
And
commendable.
that is
And
as a result of being a part of the culture.
right, that is very commendable. And I think that is one of the great benefits that we can see from the introduction of that type of activity to give the youngsters something to focus on rather than heading into the wrong areas, you know. So
Right.
I hope you guys keep that up, keep the focus, and keep trying to work to um, rescue our youth, especially those who have already fallen, into the wrong things. So I would like you guys to keep continue that. But we're gonna talk some more about that when we come back. We're gonna take a commercial break on Heritage Matters.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
It's the energy of we people, something pulsing inside. It beating every soul, a feeling we cannot. It's always pushing us forward, the limit up in the sky. There's rhythm in how we flow, a rhythm that can't be denied. It's in the feeling in how we talk. It's in the meaning in our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong, no matter what, we keep things flowing. The people, we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky, celebrate and come let your rhythm flow, 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 flow. Come let your rhythm, come let your rhythm flow.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hosfords.
What are you doing? She said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, she said, drink a root boy, I will do the work. You don't have to wind up yourself. You don't have to wind up yourself. Oh, cause when we out and we active, living we life. So when we drink, when we drinking. Root boy. So when we drink, when we drinking. Root boy. Oh, Miss Lady, anyway you see we are we building up our vibes. So when we drink, when we drinking. Root boy. So when we drink, when we drinking. Root boy. Why?
Okay, folks, welcome back to Heritage Matters. We are coming live from winnfm 98.9, and we have with us today Mr. Elvis Ras Elbow Brown from the Vibes Masquerade Group, and Mr. Dawson Woodley, the bass drummer for the St. Peter's Actors and part of the St. Peter's Bring Back the Culture Group, a highly
Greetings.
commendable group. And when we left, we were talking about the involvement of the youths in the culture, and the St. Peter's Bring Back the Culture group is making a strong effort to ensure that they attract and involve the youngsters. And I see that in their clown troupe. I see that in the actors. The actors, some very tiny little guys and so on in the actors. The string band, I think, too, is a youngsters in it. Okay, so
Yep.
the focus right there you can see is on the youth, and I think that is so commendable. And as Mr. Dawson Woodley was saying, that it has helped to literally rescue many youths from going down the wrong path. And now that they find something that is worthwhile and interesting to focus on, they are changing their attitude. And I think Mr. Ras Elbow has something to say on that.
Yes, well, you see, that's a good subject, man. That's a good subject for the young future, for the young generation, because I can remember when we went to Anguilla at the workshop, it was more to get the youth them to get together to know themselves, to love themselves and love the culture and be a part of culture. As we know that that is our black inheritance and that is our riches. And it get the youth them, the reason why I say these things because, I mean, for the past 15, 20 years, we are losing young generation at going on the wrong track. And I think the culture can be a big part of their life if we get them together. If we get this in the school, we find the children them will go and love the culture, and I think they will take it up serious because they are the future. And we're trying to get them away from gang because the gang is not bringing life, it's not bringing no future, but destruction and death. And we don't want our parents to be have to be mourning and have no money, nowhere to go to get the children to bury. And we're trying to get the children them to be take up in this culture because this can be a subject in the school. Just like you have this subject with the footballers, the cricketers, it's just what we want. When we ask the children in the school, who was the ambassador, who was the icon of culture, who was this, who was that, they can even spell it out in their lesson. And I think that will be helping the young generation in the Federation and other region that if they take part in our culture, our folklore, what we're reaching, I think there will be a good head that we are going into.
Nice, nice. So I would like to encourage not just the St. Peter's Being Agriculture Group to continue that effort because they are obviously making good inroads in that way, but any group around, even the Vibes Masquerade Group, to try and reach out to the youngsters and pull them in. And, imagine when you guys having your practices and so on, instead of the guys going on the road smoking and drinking and doing all sorts of other things, they'll be there having some fun on the road or wherever they do their practices and doing that. And next day they want to come back ready to go again and that sort of thing and find something that really, really captures their imagination. We also talked a bit about, especially Dawson, about the influx, or I should say the influence of the youth on the culture, that inevitably there will be change. And that is so. I remember when in my youth I used to look at the masquerades. They had the ribbons hanging down. But one to me of the features of the masquerade costume was that black velvet-like cape that went down the back of the uniform and had a lot of mirrors on it, little round mirrors. And you remember that?
Sure, right.
What happened to that?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's still, the tradition's still there, but you see what happened, the problem is getting the mirrors. Mm-hmm. Can't get the mirrors, the type of mirrors like before. So you have to find a solution, and we find a solution, get some smaller little glass mirror. Mm-hmm. And instead of sticking them on this kilt, we stick them on the ribbon. And for the costume, the prettiness of the costume is represents something. Mm-hmm.
It was the costume fine and they look fine, but I just remember that particular thing that I missing now.
I can say the represent of the costume where it come from and everything.
But I guess that's a good example to show that things will change.
Well, as we all know, the music coming from Africa, everything come from Africa. Mm. But the masquerade now, we represent a bird, and the bird is a peacock. Mm-hmm. If you check, the masquerade use the peacock feathers. The prettiness of the costume and the masquerade costume represent the peacock. Mm-hmm. The peacock have a heart in front here, a little heart come on here. Mm-hmm. That is pretty with ribbons, with colors. Mm-hmm. The body of the costume of the masquerade dancing, that represent the body of the bird.
Of the bird, okay.
And again,
I never looked at it that way,
yes,
but
yes, yes.
yeah.
And again, the peacock, we define dance that the masquerade represent the peacock. Because you have the peahen and the peacock. And to see the peahen and to tread the hen, you have to do a dance. You just can't go and tread the hen.
And you have to be able to spread that tail.
Right. You got to spread. And he do a dance similar to our fine dance. Have to spread to get to tread the hen.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, we can't run from the facts. The bird is the representative of the masquerade.
Is there a difficulty getting those peacock feathers? Because we don't have peacocks around
Well,
here
we
anymore,
don't. We
per se.
really have. We have one or two.
One or two,
persons
but that-
have
well,
it. But still happen now.
But enough to
Yes. Well,
keep.
we don't have enough. What happened?
How do we get the feathers?
Well, we didn't get the feather from overseas. He had a masquerade named Glenbo from the village. He in America. He just still keep the tradition in America with couple players. He's the one that send down the feathers to one of the masquerade from the village to sell. And we can get the feather them from Robin Bradshaw, from Sonia Carr, and one individual person who have a peacock. But they ain't flourishing like before. I remember in the 70s, he had Dr. Lake. He was the one have all the feathers, the peacock. I used to go up there and see the peacock them in the yard. So we have that tradition now. So we just got individual, one or two person will have a peacock. But most of the feathers them come from overseas, and they come to the store, like Sonia Carr and others will be selling the feathers.
Okay, so you still got a good source.
Yeah, we still have a good
to get
source.
them. All right. Dawson, you have any difficulties with costuming and supplies and that sort of thing in your group?
Not particularly with costume making. Most of our costumes, we already have sources for them to be made. The most expensive costume being the clown costumes. I think that for the clown troupe, that's where we've spent the most for costumes in one season. The feathers as well, are difficult to get, but
So you
for
have
most of our
masquerade
other troops,
in your Bring Back Your Culture group, right?
no, we don't have any
Oh,
masquerades.
I was just going to say I didn't see it. You mentioned them before. But you're talking about the feathers. What do you use the feathers for?
The clowns have feathers in their hats
Oh, okay.
at the very top of the cone hat.
Oh, yes. A single plume going up the top in a cone.
Yeah, they have the colorful feathers in their hats.
Okay, now you say it. I call just one name. I know it's masquerade feathers, but now you say it, I recognize it. Yeah. And I'm surprised
other
to
than
hear you
that,
say that the
the
clown
props-
costume is one of the most expensive, because I thought it's just a big piece of cloth back and the front, and you just put on some
there's-
colors on the edges and down the
There's a,
sides.
a,
and
a
that
lot
sort of
that
thing.
goes into it.
Huh?
Truthfully, it's one of the most difficult ones to make, the
Oh.
clown costume. But on top of the demand, that is one of the primary reasons why the price has skyrocketed the way it has. Everybody wants a clown suit. I can't recall the exact price. How much is it? I think it's over $1,000
What?
DC.
That's absolutely surprising.
They're expensive.
I never thought that it would come to that. What about the price of the masquerade suits? Are they?
The masquerade suit, expensive, because the amount of ribbon that we have to buy, and the cloth to make the pants and the shirt, and the velvet. See, the velvet, it was costly. The velvet, that was costly. And then when you buy these things to print up these things and put on these things, then they kind of to make, they really price again. The costume, the person them charging more. So
right now, the groups, the individuals are responsible for meeting the cost of their costumes.
yeah.
Dawson,
Of course,
in
in
your
St. Peter's
is
bringing back the
individuals
culture.
responsible for that?
It depends. It depends.
Because I'm wondering,
Um,
in today's world, the sponsorship thing, have you all ever thought of finding sponsors to assist with those kind of expenses? Especially
we
since a
do.
lot of the youngsters might
Most
not be able to afford it themselves.
most of most of our day-to-day running is done from the performances we do throughout the year. St. Peter's Bringing Back the Culture is one of the only folklore organizations that performs year-round. You're accustomed to see folklore mostly during Carnival or Christmas season. We do it year-round, and so we get an income throughout the year, and so we are often able to offset the cost
Okay,
of the different materials and
that's good.
costumes.
That's good.
And so typically, if for children, we will either pay a portion of the costume, or we will completely cover it.
Okay, that's good. I
But
was
for
hoping to hear.
adults, typically adults buy their own costumes,
Okay, okay,
or put money towards it.
you're right. Okay,
And
good.
we typically only seek sponsorship when we are seeking to do something much bigger. For example, we're traveling overseas soon, and the last time I will go back to the last time we traveled to Anguilla. We sought a bunch of sponsors from different companies around St. Kitts, and we did receive quite a bit, and so we were able to pull off that trip in August. It was a very big logistical challenge with the amount of people we were traveling with, because we wanted to bring um, basically our entire cast, from the bulls to the actor to the clowns. At that time, we didn't have the string band as yet,
Okay.
and so we went down to Anguilla, and we had a great reception down in Anguilla. Um, a number of people wanting to make sure that we would be there again for this year.
Okay. Well, you
Um,
seem to have the same experience as Ras Elbow, man.
yeah, it
Anguilla
was
seems
well
to be
received,
attracting a lot of,
well received.
inviting and attracting a lot of our folklore down there. Anyway, guys,
Yes,
it's now
because
midday, and it's time for the midday news, so we have to wrap up. So just want to thank you guys for being a part of the show. Thanks for coming, Ras Elbow and Dawson. Glad to have you guys on the show. And if you guys need to come on the show and talk about anything with regards to the culture and what your group or groups are doing and any functions or events you're having, feel free to give me a call and we can arrange to have you on the show. So thank you all very much. Any last words?
Well, the
thank
last
you for
word I
having
want to say
us.
to Win FM 98.9, way downtown, keep it alive. And to my family, my children, my management, my team, and all the folklore that in the federation, just keep ahead and, be, hope for the better future to
Okay.
come. And that's it all from
Jolly good.
elbow straight, follow the arrow.
All right. Dawson.
Yes, I just want to thank you for the opportunity and thank you for having me. I had a nice time here. And to anyone listening, if you or anyone is interested in joining one of our folklore groups, you can reach out to us, reach out to Aiden Hendrickson at 765-1433. That's 765-1433. Aiden
Okay,
Hendrickson, if
great.
you would like to join St. Peter's Bringing Back the Culture.
Wonderful.
And have
And
a great
thank you for being
afternoon.
with us, especially on short notice. And we hope to have you guys back again. Thanks again, and see you next 2 weeks on Heritage Matters.